cool bitches in my bed. I got scales all on my floor. I got money on the line, plus I'm clocking it below. I got.
Yo, what's up guys, and welcome to Shaky. Today we're going to be reacting to A Beautiful Life Goes On by BTS. And it's part 2 of the video. We watched part 1 a couple of days ago. We haven't had the time to react these couple of days because of, there's a lot of stuff going on. So we're taking it now. And yeah, we pretty much left off where each member got like a mini introduction. And so we're just going to continue on from here and go along with it. All right, here we go.
They had the group, but they still needed the music. In early 2013, they set out to create some social media presence for themselves before officially debuting, posting song covers on both SoundCloud and YouTube, which you can still go watch today. In May, Big Hit launched a countdown clock on their website in preparation for BTS's debut album, complete with a trailer and a ton of promotional material, including photos for the first time of all the members in the official lineup. Finally, the big day came. June 12, 2013, BTS held a press conference and a debut showcase where they performed their 2 singles, No More Dream and We Are Bulletproof Part 2. The same day, the Too Cool for School album, as well as the music video for No More Dream, were released.
It should be, but we should definitely react to those songs too, right? Honestly.
The very next day, BTS performed the song again on their official debut stage on Mnet's M Countdown. This was the world's first taste of BTS. Commercially, the album didn't do extraordinarily well. The lead single, No More Dream, peaked at 124 in Korea, and the album sold only 24,000 copies during its...
They peaked at over 100. Now they're like consistently number 1.
Yeah.
They're like super high up, always like in the top. That's what hard work means. But yeah, that's super impressive. And even back then when we look at their like older songs from 2013, like you can see the talent.
First year. Bulletproof Part 2 didn't even chart. The first year wasn't all that great for BTS,
didn't even
but
chart.
Despite everything, people saw them. People saw the sparkle in their eyes and their limitless potential. And they were hot, of course. On July 9th, ARMY was established as BTS's official fandom. They made their comeback only 2 months later in September when they released their single, No, along with their EP, part 2 of what would be their school trilogy. Oh,
it looks so different.
Yeah. In the music video for the single, they made a commentary on the harsh Korean education system, along with their previous themes of hopes and dreams. No peaked at 92 in Korea, but also quickly fell off the charts. The album debuted at number 4 on the Gaon Weekly chart and was the 55th best-selling album in South Korea that year. This was enough to secure them the coveted New Artist of the Year award at the Melon Music Awards, the Golden Disc Awards, and the Seoul Music Awards.
Ooh,
Part 3 of the school trilogy was released in...
That's how you start. You start by winning small, awards, and, you go on to win bigger and bigger things. I mean, obviously... winning like the rookie award, like the best new, isn't like a bad thing. But now these guys are like they've won everything that there is to win.
In February of 2014, the EP School Love Affair. This time, the lead single was Boy in Love. And the other single being Just One Day.
Oh, I like that one.
The album, as well as both singles, enjoyed moderate success, with the album topping the Gaon album chart as well as making its first international appearance at number 3 on the Billboard World Albums chart. The album also marked their first distinctive change in theme, focusing more on school life and young love, as evidenced by their Boy in Love music video. They also held their first fan meetings with a crowd of 3,000 in Seoul. BTS was doing well. That is, until July. This is, unfortunately, a dark chapter in the lives of BTS and ARMY. That's right, American Hustle Life. I'm joking, of course, but American Hustle Life was a reality show put together by Mnet that brought BTS to Los Angeles, where they had the unique opportunity to learn the true ways of hip-hop from the masters. And it was a pretty darn cringy opportunity, but an opportunity nonetheless. Whatever you do, just don't watch the Warren G version of Boy in Love. You've been warned. However, cringe and all, the trip proved fruitful for BTS, making connections, performing their first US concert for free in front of 200 fans, as well as their first appearance at KCON. The next month, in August, BTS released their first full-length studio album, Dark and Wild. The album featured 2 singles, Danger, and War of Hormone. The album featured a marked shift in sound with a touch of R&B and electronic.
I like the flow.
It was met with moderate success. It peaked at number 2 in Korea, selling over 200,000 albums. In October and again in May.
See, they're getting better and better. They peaked at number 2 this time, and you know, they sold over 200,000. Compare that to the first one, 124, and one wasn't even charted, and they couldn't even get into top 100 at times. Pretty impressive.
In the following year, BTS went on their first and second concert tours, known as the Red Bullet Tour, where they visited 13 different countries, including Japan, the Philippines, Australia, the US, Mexico, and many others. They also came out with their first Japanese album in December, Wake Up, featuring many Japanese versions of their songs, as well as original tracks Wake Up and The Stars,
That's pretty cool.
followed by a Japan tour and a solo concert.
Japanese.
So they can speak Japanese.
Seems like all of them can speak Japanese, if they've been singing. Which, I mean, we can speak 3 languages, and we know how difficult it is. But Korean and Japanese in general are like super complex languages, so it's pretty impressive to be able to, you know, go at both of them.
Although Dark and Wild got decent attention, they needed something different. They needed something that would shake things up. They got to work. April 29, 2015 was their comeback. When this album was produced, each member had a hand in writing songs for the album. They again changed their sound, from aggressive hip-hop to youthful, colorful styles. And not only their sound, but their image as well. This can be evidenced by their newest EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life. And just by looking at the album cover, they ditched the dark colors and the bulletproof vest symbol that had become so synonymous with BTS, and replaced it with a simple white and pink background overlaid with the title. And then, they dropped the single that would change everything. I Need You. It was sentimental,
nice.
It was hopeful, it was new. Just by looking at the music video, we can see that BTS has also ditched their punk bad boy image and
True, they've changed like their style, like overall. They went from like more edgy, you know, like darkish, you know, vibe to a more, I don't know, more upbeat, more, I don't know how to explain
Yeah,
it. But
like a good vibe.
yeah, and I heard something that they said in the video. They talked about making a comeback. Does that mean that these guys took a pause, or like they stopped for a while?
I have no idea.
Because they talked about they made a comeback. Maybe you guys could answer that.
replaced it with a more real, vulnerable, down-to-earth, and youthful.
Yeah, that's what I was
This
looking
proved
for,
to be the
down to
change
earth.
that BTS
Yeah.
needed for mainstream success. Billboard called it one of the greatest K-pop songs of the decade. It
Ooh.
charted at number 5 in Korea, and even led them to their first music show win on SBS MTV's The Show. And that wasn't all. They released their second single,
Number 5.
Dope, on June 24th, which started off with a poignant line from RM.
어서 와. 방탄은 처음이지?
Welcome. Is this your first time with BTS? And you know what? For a lot of people, it was. In a way, their first...
We have to react to that song as well. It's called Dope. I know that
Yeah.
people in the comment have requested us to react to it, but we will definitely get to it.
studio album and tour can be seen as their stepping stone between old school BTS
I like that dance.
and new school. In November, they came back with their follow-up EP, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 2, the second EP in what would be dubbed the Youth Trilogy, which featured the single Run.
Did you react to this?
The album focused even more on frivolity, friendship, and carefree attitude
I don't
that
think we
comes with
reacted to
enjoying
this
one's
one.
youth. But just like in
I think no, we did not. We haven't reacted to this actually. It sounds familiar.
Yeah.
No, we
You
haven't.
contrasted that with suffering, depression, loneliness, society, and the stark and sometimes dark reality of life. Compare this with the far cry of the No More Dreams music video. It felt real. It was darker, grittier, more humble, more meaningful, and most importantly, RM lost his mohawk. Run also connected narratively with their previous single, I Need You, and another video released in September titled On Stage Prologue established what would come to be known as the BTS universe, or the BU.
So that's where they started with the whole storyline. Because, you know, normal artists, they don't usually create like a universe or a story with their albums. They just release, you know, songs that they like.
Yeah.
I mean, there's maybe like a meaning behind each song, but there's not like a bigger picture, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, it's true.
These guys have made like a, how do you call this? Like a whole backstory. Like they created like a world where each album is tied, song is tied together or something. I think so. That's it.
Which would eventually combine music videos, short films, books, short stories, webtoons, and even a mobile game to create a cohesive story. And
Yeah,
I won't
see?
go down
We
this
should
rabbit
play
hole
that
because
game.
there is a lot to digest, but it's definitely something to look into if you're a hardcore army. The same month, they kicked off their third tour, the Most Beautiful Moment in Life on-stage tour, where they performed songs from their 2 recent EPs, Part 1 and Part 2. And Part 2 was a hit, their biggest so far. It topped the Weekly Gaon album and Billboard World Albums charts. And on Billboard, it stayed there for multiple weeks.
Wow, and Billboard too. That is huge. And here's the best part, right? Look at the date. It says December 19.
2015.
Yeah, and it was 2013, 2 years later. They went from being uncharted to like very like super low charted to becoming one of the top. That's what it means to like work together and just try and just keep on going. So nice.
First K-pop act to do so. It also appeared on the Billboard 200 albums chart. Not world albums, which is reserved for foreign non-English songs, but simply the top 200 albums, peaking at 171. Which is kind of amazing considering that this was back in 2015. They also
Yeah.
received Best World Performer at the 17th Mnet Asian Music Awards. This brings us to part 3 of the Youth Trilogy, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Young Forever, released on May 2nd, 2016, which featured probably my favorite BTS album cover. Young Forever was actually a compilation album of parts 1 and 2, so it was mostly the same songs, but it was notable that it had some new singles, Epilogue, Young Forever, Fire, and Save Me. The latter two performed exceptionally well, with both songs topping the Billboard World Digital Songs chart. This was also the second BTS album to chart on the Billboard 200 at 107, and it topped both the Gaon Weekly and Monthly chart, which earned BTS their first Daesang.
So this is where they start going. They're pretty much number one in like 3 spots, and you know, album wise they're getting up there. It's just this is where like the ride really starts. I think. Ooh, they won Best Album of the Year.
Album of the Year at the 8th Melon Music Awards. They went on to do the second half of their tour, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life on Stage Epilogue, selling out many of their concerts and even selling out KCON in the US where they headlined the event. In September, they dropped their second Japanese album, Youth, featuring Japanese versions of tracks from their previous 3 EPs.
Ooh, yeah.
Which went gold
The Japanese.
and peaked at #1 on Japanese charts. And only a month later, in October of 2016, it happened. BTS dropped their second studio album, Wings. It sold over 500,000 copies in its first week. In comparison, The Most Beautiful Moment in Life, Part 1, released just the previous year, which topped the Gaon chart, sold about 500,000 in its entire lifetime. Wings.
Dang. So their album before Wings, right, sold 500,000 since it was released. Wings released 500,000 in a week. In 1 week. That is huge.
How much?
Was
500,000 in 1 week.
big, but the true
Yeah, that's
showstopper
crazy.
was its lead single, Blood, Sweat, and Tears,
We have to react to this one.
which
Yeah.
got them their first all-kill, topping 8 music charts in South Korea. Its music video gained 6 million views in
All-kill?
the first 24 hours, which broke the YouTube record for the highest number of views of a K-pop group music video within 24 hours. The album hit
I'm not
number
even
26 on the Billboard 200, the highest ever charting K-pop album on Billboard. They ended up selling 1.5 million copies in South Korea in 2016 alone, and it netted them the Artist of the Year award at the Mnet Asian Music Awards that same year, the first non-Big 3 artist ever to receive that award.
수상자는 방탄소년단.
Yo, I'm actually hyped for these guys. I mean, this is a
Yeah.
couple of years back, 5 years back, but I'm actually hyped to see them win. The fact that their road went from such a spot to where they are now, like each year they go up, 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 fans grow and everything. Just nice to
After Blood, Sweat, and Tears, they were on a roll. BTS was unstoppable. In February of 2017, they released the instant hit Spring Day, which, quoting a Korean reviewer, embodied nostalgia and sorrow and opened a new chapter in BTS's aesthetics and lyricism and attracted fans across generational boundaries. Which, by the way, is still on Korean charts after nearly 4 years. And the same day I'm writing this, it ranked number 53 on Melon.
53
it won
after
Song
4
of the
year.
Year at the 9th Melon
Is
Music
that good or
Awards.
is that bad?
After the
a song charting. It's been on the top 100. It's 53 after 4 years of it releasing. Do you know how crazy that is? You release, like, new songs are being released every day. And this is 4 years we're speaking of. And it's still holding like a top position.
At 50.
Yeah, and it used to be even better. But that's crazy. A song that released 4 years
that is
ago.
crazy.
Release of Spring Day, they went on yet another tour, the 2017 BTS Live Trilogy, Episode 3, The Wings Tour. The tickets sold out within minutes, including in the United States.
I'm not surprised.
The first K-pop artist to do so,
Took
and
minutes
went
for
on
the
to win
tickets to
Best
sell
Social
out.
Artist
That's
at the
crazy.
Billboard Music Awards. The first for a Korean artist, but they would go on to win this award 4 years in a row. The next year was a period of
Damn, they won the international award 4 years in a row. You know, it's like they say, like no Korean artist or group has managed to do that. They did it 4 years in a row.
Yeah, but they're very
for
good.
both the group's popularity as well as their style. They released the Love Yourself series, starting with Love Yourself Her in September of 2017, Love Yourself Tear in May of 2018, and Love Yourself Answer in August of 2018. 3 albums that gave us some of the most classic BTS songs that we know and love today, such as Mic Drop,
Yeah, we reacted to this.
This one was
Fake Love,
super good. This one
Euphoria,
too. We haven't reacted to that one.
Idol, and of course, all 3 albums were commercial successes, Her being their first album to top 2 million album sales. But Tear and Answer also did equally well.
Did you see how many copies they sold?
Is this it for part 2?
Yeah, well, in a second, yeah. But did you see how many albums they sold?
No.
Like, it was, they released those 3 albums, it was like 2.6, 2.4, and 2.3, which is around 7 million copies sold. Which is super cool, super impressive.
Yeah.
7.2 million. But yeah, we're just gonna take a little break here, and we're gonna do part 3 tomorrow. And yes, this time it's gonna come out tomorrow. And yeah, so far, what can I say? You know, it's just very inspiring. You know, we're just new at YouTube. We're like trying to grind here and, you know, interact with fans and see how it is. But I can't imagine how much work these guys have put in to go from not being charted to being one of the best sellers within like 2 years. Such an amazing group. As usual, many thanks to the Asian Theory for this, you know, well done video. Super nice to follow. It pretty much covers everything. And once again, we thank you guys for recommending this. I want to see if you have.
You know I'm grinding like a pro skater, baby mama bugging. I'm so